go now for this championship.
Sampras will have the serve first. And as a couple of the competitors were saying during this 2-week period, oftentimes when Pete Sampras is at the top of his game, the way he plays will determine the result. And only the way he plays. Big serve, big return right off the bat, and Hewitt's passing shot goes long.
A tremendous return off of the Sampras 150. 27-mile-per-hour serve. Keep you posted on some serve speeds here. We might see a record or two broken today. See already the shadows creeping across this wonderful center court, the Arthur Ashe Stadium, at 4:45 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, New York time. This court will be totally in shadows probably in the next 30 minutes.
Second serve for Pete Sampras.
The sound you hear is the Cyclops, the automatic radar caller on the service line.
That return serve goes long as well.
Nice kick serve from Sampras. They're mixing it up with that what traditionally was called the American twist serve. The Australians never liked that term, but we kept it.
Lleyton Hewitt, one of the few to win a title on the men's tour as a teenager. Bjorn Borg won the most as a teenager. 16 in those years. His first coming at 17 years, 8 months. Hewitt won his first at 16 years and 10 months.
Sampras going wide, does not like the call. Thought he had a second serve ace there. A few whistles from this crowd.
Pete will do this sometimes early in a match. Get right into the chair umpire and ask a question.
Well, Chris telling Pete he is not going to overrule that shot. By the linesman, let's have a look.
Oh, he might be right.
Just the side of that line. Sampras making a very valid appeal for an ace there.
You can tell the crowd is picking sides already.
This net very tightly strung. You can see that net cord jump out of sight. Ooh, that's a big return off the forehand from Lleyton Hewitt. So Sampras wanted that call. It would still be 40-15 at this point. Instead now, a tight game developing here.
Well, let's get this stat out of the way early. 87 consecutive games without having his service broken in this tournament for Pete Sampras. Oh, Hewitt's passing shot of beauty cross court.
There is that big two-hander from Lleyton Hewitt. Sampras sticks the volley, but look at the control on this two-hander. Rolls over that ball. Great preparation. Told her shoulders to swing right into it.
The line, service winner. Sampras rises to the occasion in game one.
I think we're going to see a whole lot of rallies today, Mike. Not with Sampras serving like he is, and the return of Hewitt. Maybe a few more rallies when Hewitt serves, but Sampras service games will be quick. Hewitt lunging wide, another solid return off that forehand.
Sampras for the add to Hewitt.
Yeah, Sampras in trouble now. He tries to ease that forehand up the line, just catches the net. Default, and a bit of a late call. You see the linesperson at the top of your picture there trying to get that angle in on that sideline.
It's tough. The linesman on that side is in the shade. That line in the sun. And the passing shot by Hewitt. He breaks Sampras in game one of the championship match, snapping an 87-game streak for Pete Sampras. as Pete Sampras heads across the net to return serve. Someone mentioned to him in the press gathering yesterday about that streak of service games. And he said, I shouldn't have done that. It jinxed me now. And there it is. It's gone in the first game.
I will be interested to see now if Sampras uses that play on the second serve approach like he did against Safin yesterday. The slice and coming in. Stays back on this first point on Hewitt's serve.
Oh, the backhand volley. Sampras just took command.
That is a classic high backhand volley from the 7-time Wimbledon champion. Just leaned into that shot, knocked it off cleanly.
Look at the baseline. You can see the shadows covering almost half of the court.
Tough time to play actually this time of day because the sun getting low in the sky, and this court will be totally in shades shortly. A double fault. Lleyton Hewitt.
And the U.S. crowd cheering the double fault.
Yeah. I think this crowd predominantly for Sampras at the moment anyway.
Although Hewitt hasn't been bothered by that. He had a couple of tremendous wins in Davis Cup that he referred to the other day. Answer to a question about how he'll feel out here is not only the underdog in a way, but certainly not the favorite of the crowd. He thought that Davis Cup play will help him. But now he's facing triple break point.
Big opportunity now for Sampras. Triple break point, second game of the match. And he was down a break. He would love to get even right here. See how Hewitt handles this pressure. Fault. Sampras looking back at that. Well, that's the same lines person that gave Pete the bad call. Oh,
double fault by Hewitt. So a nervous looking service game for Lleyton Hewitt and a break of serve for Pete Sampras.
That would be one of the worst service games Hewitt has served in this entire tournament. A love game. He's going to be thinking to himself, what was wrong there? Well, I'll tell you, that last toss was very low.
For more on the U.S. Open, get on the website, the official website of the U.S. Open, as Sampras fires his first ace of the day.
50.
Out wide, 107 miles per hour.
Hewitt, one of the youngest men to play for the U.S. Open Championship. 20 years, 6 months. Just long. This match represents one of the biggest differences between opponents in U.S. Open history. Is a great backhand down the line by Hewitt. Evens up the game at 15 all. You got to go back to 1974. Jimmy Connors, Ken Rosewall. Rosewall was 39 years old. Connors 22. Difference of 17 years. Ends that emphatically.
Ball bounced just high enough for Pete to take the full swing.
30.
Is in overhead. It's his favorite stroke.
A couple of years before, in 1970, Tony Roach played Ken Rosewall. Rosewall was then 35 years old. Roach was 25. Difference of 10 years, 7 months. So Hewitt and Sampras, 9 years, 6 months apart in age. It's the old man against the young buck. Pete knocks off another backhand volley over his head. He's so good at those.
40-15.
Interesting stat about my old friend Ken Rosewall. He beat Lou Hode in 1956 in the finals of the U.S. Nationals then, which is now the Open, and then played that 74 final. That's an 18-year span.
Amazing.
It was in the championship match.
Again, Sampras won this tournament at age 19. Now here he is 11 years later, playing for another U.S. Open championship. It would be his first since '96. Great pickup.
Game.
Catches the tip.
Sampras on the pickup of that half volley, as good as anybody at that, and a 2-1 first set lead. Back at Arthur Ashe Stadium, the U.S. Open Men's Singles Championship. Pete Sampras 2-1. First set lead. There have been 2 breaks of serve already. Now Lleyton Hewitt has broken his first service game. I guess if there's an area that Hewitt will have to develop, he hopes to win Grand Slams, it would be this.
Low.
That is his 3rd double fault of the afternoon.
And now Hewitt really having trouble with that second serve. I think he might have watched a little of that match yesterday when Sampras came in behind the second serve of Safin quite a bit.
15.
That was better. 15 all.
Giving himself a little room there behind the baseline on that shot. Ooh, that's good.
Got a couple of lines, but Hewitt got there.
Great angle from Hewitt on that little half volley from Sampras. That shows you how quick Lleyton Hewitt can cover court. Way off court now, way out behind the baseline. Look at him scamper to get this shot. And the angle as Sampras leans to his right. Fabulous shot from Hewitt.
I don't think Sampras thought that he could get to that.
No.
But he did. That might get Hewitt going.
People used to say Michael Chang, the fastest man in the game. I think today it's Lleyton Hewitt. Nice approach.
And Hewitt a little bit of Sampras's approach.
Yeah, there we see a little variety from Hewitt. He not only has that great two-hander we just saw with the passing shot, but when he gets a short ball, he can slice under the backhand with a one-handed approach.
Oh, Sampras a golden opportunity, nets it. And
2 games.
Hewitt holds serve to even the first set at 2-all. Lleyton Hewitt, a winner in Sydney this year. To begin the year, disappointing Australian Open final. There's Kim Clijsters on the right. Young gal who's a rising star on the women's tour. Misses the half volley there.
I interviewed Kim Clijsters about a month ago out at Stanford, Mike, and asked her how she and Lleyton were getting along. They're an item these days on the tour, and she said, hey, we go out and practice tennis with each other. And I thought, boy, wouldn't that be nice to have an attractive young woman like that to hit some tennis balls with every day. No wonder he's playing so well.
That might keep you on the court an extra hour or so to practice.
Exactly. Second serve now from Sampras.
So tough.
15.
Now you had mentioned you saw Sampras the Hamlet Cup a week or 2 weeks ago now. His game was pretty good, but I don't think anybody expected that he'd be playing in this final, despite the way he played on Long Island.
No, most people up there were saying he'll be lucky to get out of the round of 16. And here he is in the championship.
Missed that backhand volley.
Just overhits that high one. And against a player like Hewitt, there's a tendency to maybe try and do just a little bit more on that volley because you know how quick he is. That's exactly what happened to Sampras here. A little too much.
No defense against that. That's Pete's second ace.
116 miles per hour.
$30-all. Second serve.
Second
break.
Luck there. And as we mentioned, strung very tightly, and as that ball hits it, if it's got any spin at all, it's going to go over. Not that one.
Double fault. Another break point. Hewitt converted his first opportunity. Now he's got a second. Three straight serves by Sampras in the net.
As the tape falls back.
So one saved. Back to deuce. Sampras began at the Australian Open this year by losing in the round of 16 to Todd Martin. Here's a look as Pete just could be a spectator to get back to deuce. He got bounced in the round of 32 in Memphis. Round of 32 at Scottsdale as well.
Advantage second.
Now Sampras has the ad. Made a good run at Indian Wells before losing to Andre Agassi in the third set in the final, but then had three more poor results in a row in the month of May. So he has struggled. He celebrated his 30th birthday in August. Too good. Sampras saves a break point. Goes up 3-2 in our first set. It's best of 5.
Sampras leads 3 games to 2.
Mike Crispino, Barry McKay at the U.S. Open Men's Championship. And Lleyton Hewitt down 2-3 in this first of the best of 5 sets. Serve.
As we look at Lleyton Hewitt and now Pete Sampras, I was just thinking, Mike, of the wonderful Davis Cup match that Hewitt played down in Brazil against the #1 player in the world, Gustavo Kuerten. Beat him in straight sets. A very impressive win earlier this year. This is that two-hander just wide.
Rare miss by Hewitt. One of the accurate ground strokers in the game. Hewitt seated 4th here.
There is Darren Cahill, one of the fine Australian players of about a decade ago, coaching Lleyton Hewitt, has been his coach for at least 3 years. Oh,
30. Forehand sprayed long. Pete starting to mix in some sliced backhands into the rallies, trying to set himself up. Now the entire court in shade.
no. 30 overhanded slice, just a little long.
Sampras seemingly dictating the pace of these rallies. Hewitt will hang with the best of them from the baseline, but does not seem to be willing to get to the net.
Good approach. Excellent shot from Sampras down the line with that nice slice backhand. A big opportunity for Sampras here.
Another break point.
I sense, Mike, that Hewitt just still a little nervous in this match. This is his biggest moment of all times. Sampras has been in this situation many times.
16 to be exact.
Gets away with one there, fights off a break point. Lleyton Hewitt, who at age 13 was trying to decide between Australian rules football and tennis. He made a good choice. His dad, one of the good Australian rules players in South Australia there from Adelaide. long.
Advantage Hewitt.
Another great Australian doubles player, Ken McGregor from Adelaide, Australia. I'm sure Lleyton Hewitt and Ken have had many conversations about this great game of tennis.
The Sampras backhand betraying him there. It's been one of his shots that has been solid for him in his 2-week U.S. Open. And Hewitt hangs on to even up the first set, 3-all.
It was a crucial game. I tell you, he was
3 games
down a break of serve. He's already been down, not really down because he broke back right away, but big game there for Lleyton Hewitt.
I don't know if Hewitt wants to get into too many tie breaks, though, with this guy, Pete Sampras. He's been in so many. And with that serve as a weapon, he's been able to win more often than not. Big second serve by Sampras.
Everybody talks about Sampras's big first serve, all the aces and the power, but through the years, the second serve, when he needs it, has been his big weapon.
Yeah, that's a lesson for a lot of players, too, in my mind. He goes for a lot of second serves, and he wins a lot of second serve points.
30
He's very clever with the score. Like when he's up 30-love, he'll go for a big second serve, 40-love, 40-15, but you rarely see him going for a big second serve at 30-40. That's when he hits the ace. Jack Kramer, one of the greatest players of all time, said, "Show me a big second serve and I'll show you a champion." Easy put away for Sampras.
40-love for Sampras, in command in this game.
14.
I guess the one blemish that will be on the Sampras record when all is said and done is his futility at the French Open. A tremendous Wimbledon champion, best ever. U.S. Open 4 titles, 2 at the Australian Open. The French has eluded him. Game at love on Sampras' serve. He leads 4-3 in the first.
Sampras leads 4 games to 3. Ball change.
And Sampras catches the line.
That is a sensational return from Pete Sampras. Big swing on that forehand just up the line. Now watch how Sampras guides this ball up the line. It's wide all the way until just the last foot.
15-all.
Hewitt comes back with a big serve, 15-all.
To me, that was what made Pete so tough yesterday against Safin, Mike, was the return of serve. I mean, he served very well, but he just took Safin's serve and did a lot with it.
And that's not easy to do. Safin, as Sampras was saying, has a big game. And there's Hewitt getting to the net. Knocks one home. That's the 4th time he's gotten there. He's won all 4 points there.
Sampras has already been in 26 times. Lleyton's batting 100%. Just on that baseline. That's good. No.
And that was out. So 30-all. Sampras was ready to take a swing at it last second. Saw it drop long. 9th unforced error.
There is Paul Annacone, Pete Sampras' coach, who has logged a lot of hours on the sidelines in the last 4 years. If anybody owes how to play on the service return, it's Sampras to Annacone. Annacone took every ball and came in behind it. I used to kid him, say he brought the baseline with him. Going for it all with that forehand up the line. Just catches the tape.
40-30. Hewitt.
Sampras through the years had a lot more success, has had more success with the forehand cross court. That's his big winner on the full run.
Game Hewitt.
And a game to Hewitt as he hangs on. 4-all in the first.
4 games old.
Lleyton Hewitt, as we mentioned, 20 years old, shy of his 21st birthday, the 25th man in the Open era to play in a Grand Slam tournament final. Murat Safin last year was under 21 years old. And that young person, under 21, to play in a Grand Slam final, has won 16 of the 24. Here's Sampras rushing the net, and Hewitt swings it wide.
He had no choice there but to go for a winner. He was way off court. The other shot might have been a lob. It is tough getting the ball over Sampras's head. Not only is Pete tall, but he can leap about 5 feet off the ground.
He's got that. He's got some hops for a tennis player.
Linesman behind Hewitt at the top of your picture there, trying to get that angle in on that sideline. It's wide.
Skids just wide. Sampras' volley has been solid in this tournament, Barry, and that's something that, you know, gives him confidence, obviously, to get to net. He's gone there 28 times, won 18 in this match. Hewitt got a racket on it, but couldn't do much with it. 30-15.
126 mile per hour serve from Sampras.
Is that all? Oh,
yes.
That was good by Pete Sampras. A solid backhand.
Big backhand volley. Sampras' best in the match so far. Now he hits this little overspin. Now watch him move forward on this backhand. Sticks it for a winner. Very firm wrist on that shot.
Full extension. Hewitt had no chance to get back into the point. Michael Chang was the youngest man in this era to win a Grand Slam when he did it for French. 17 years, 3 months. And Sampras holds for a 5-4 first set lead.
5 games to 4.
Hewitt to serve, down 4-5 in the first set of this best of 5 for the U.S. Open Men's Singles Championship. There have been 2 breaks of serve on the opening 2 games of the match. Sampras had the first serve, winning the toss, which was executed by Ivan Lendl, the former U.S. Open champion.
Fun to see Ivan out there today. He plays a lot of golf on that Pro Celebrity Golf Tour. He's down to a scratch golfer. He hits a ton out of the ball.
See, these ex-professional athletes can pick up golf like yourself, and then they can learn the game, get themselves to, you know, single digits. Sampras got caught a little bit in between, and that little pickup didn't work.
It indeed, a great forehand from Hewitt there. Catches Pete. There's the shot. He rolls the forehand. Watch him scramble. Sampras tries the little half volley from behind. It does not work.
I don't think Pete thought he would get that kind of shot off.
No.
Hewitt. Hewitt just banged it on the run. He's so capable. Moves so well. And Sampras rushing behind that backhand return so well.
That's what we saw him do very well against Murat Safin yesterday. Take the second serve, come in behind it, hit the deep approach. And he's going to have to do that against Hewitt, I think, Mike, because once they get in a rally, Hewitt's on equal footing with Sampras.
Sampras trying to do something that only 9 other men have done, and that is win a Grand Slam championship after the age of 30. There's a lot of age statistics in this. Did you notice?
Yeah, indeed.
That goes wide. 40-15. Rod Laver did it 4 times. Ken Rosewall did it 4 times after age 30. Arthur Ashe, that memorable 75 Wimbledon, was 31 years, almost 32 years old. John Newcomb did it in Australia in 1975 at 30 and 7 months.
Game.
The ace by Hewitt.
Lleyton Hewitt with his first ace of the match out
5
wide.
games off.
Amazingly, Hewitt has cranked up a 127-mile-per-hour serve thus far in the match. Trying to remember where that one came in.
I don't remember that, but that was 102 miles per hour. Not exceptionally fast by today's men's standards, but it had great movement on it. Sampras couldn't get to it, so now 5-all. And Pete cranks one up. That one at 124.
We're 2 games away from a possible tiebreak here, Mike, and Sampras has had some experience with that situation. 4 of them against Agassi earlier in the tournament.
Another big serve. Sampras 30 love. Andres Gomez was another 30-something. Grand Slam winner. Did it in the French in 1990.
Yep. Beat Agassi in that match. A lot of people thought Andre had a great chance that year. Yes.
Oh, that's not high enough. Not when Pete Sampras is leaping.
There's that patented Sampras leap on the overhead.
14.
Sometimes it gets him in trouble. Another look, he kind of gets jammed there. Now watch him put on the brakes. Back up, graceful shot from Pete Sampras.
Sampras looking lighter on his feet each and every match in this U.S. Open. Oh, perfect position, the backhand knockdown. Sampras 6-5 in the first.
6 games to 5.
Back at Arthur Ashe Stadium court. The U.S. Open 2001 has come down to one final match. The men's singles championship. Pete Sampras, 6-5, first set leader. Lleyton Hewitt to serve. And he begins with an ace. Hewitt's second ace of the day. Sampras playing in his 7th U.S. Open men's final. A record of 4-2 in finals. Sampras matching ground strokes with Hewitt and then bombs one out against the wall. So Hewitt
13.
2 points away from forcing a tiebreaker. The first real miscues by Pete Sampras. Love. 40 love. And an ace for Hewitt, his 3rd of the match. And his 2nd of the game, and we're headed to a first set tiebreaker. Lleyton Hewitt and Pete Sampras in set number 1 headed for a tiebreaker. Sampras 24-11 this year in tiebreakers. Hewitt 14-10. A great return of serve by Hewitt.
1-0 Hewitt.
Now Hewitt has 2 chances. A rematch of last year's semifinal, won by Pete Sampras. Caught the line. And now 2 love, Lleyton Hewitt.
0 Hewitt.
Another ace from Hewitt, so cranking it up on serve. Lleyton Hewitt leads 3-love in the tiebreaker. First to 7 by 2. So Pete Sampras in a hole. Oh, and a great volley by Sampras, spinning away from Lleyton Hewitt. It's 3-1.
3-1 Hewitt.
Crowd sensing this is the first huge turning point of the match. And a service winner for Sampras, 2-3. So tough on the serve, Pete Sampras. Now Hewitt's turn. Second serve. Hewitt's won only 3 of 11 points on his second serve. Wind kicking up. He's serving against the wind right now. And a double fault by Lleyton Hewitt. And we're all even at 3 apiece in the tiebreak. Lleyton Hewitt's 4th double fault of the afternoon. And we're all even at 3 apiece. Hewitt had service broken in the second game of this match because of 2 double faults. To the winner, $850,000. The runner-up, $425,000. An out call and a late call.
4-3 Hewitt.
On the baseline, Hewitt swung at it anyway. Sampras continued to play, but Chris called it out and overruled. And it was clearly out. We got a second look at it. Sampras serving 3-4. And a passing shot on the backhand side by Hewitt. 5-3 Lleyton Hewitt. Sampras couldn't quite get to it. Critical serve now for Pete Sampras. Down 2 in the tiebreak. Second serve. And a service winner by Sampras, 4-5. 5-4. Hewitt now can end this tiebreak on his own serve, just in the first set of a best of 5. The 8th time these two men have met. Sampras holds a 4-3 lead. So Lleyton Hewitt 1 point away from winning a first set tiebreaker over Pete Sampras. Sampras's backhand volley goes long. The first set to Lleyton Hewitt. Hewitt 7-4 in the tiebreak and a 1-set lead. What a rally this was. As Lleyton Hewitt, trailing most of the first set, able to win in the tiebreak, 7-4. Back at the U.S. Open, the second set, Lleyton Hewitt has won the tiebreak in the first set.
50.
7-4. And Sampras, that return of serve, just simply missed it. It'll be interesting to see how he responds to this.
Psychologically, a big effort there for Lleyton Hewitt in that tiebreak. Mike, I think it'll give him a boost, maybe get him off to a quick start here in the second set. Sampras missing what looked to be a fairly routine volley on that big point.
Well, you got to forget about it.
30
love. Hewitt with the first serve of the second set.
Who made some records yesterday with that easy semifinal dating back to 1924, even 1918. We'll talk about that in a second.
40 love.
Great
40 love.
The great Bill Tilden defeated Chiga Kamagai 6-2, 6-2, 6 love. Almost choked on that one.
What a guy.
In the semifinals back in 1918.
It's a lot of semifinals between then and now. Hewitt knocks down the forehand volley, and he's feeling confident.
First game.
A 1-set lead and a 1-game lead. Sampras to serve. And at the feet, he got crossed up. Love 15.
Well, Hewitt got the early break in that first set, but gave it right back. We'll see if he can get another one early here against Sampras. Already love 15.
15.
Ace for Sampras. It's his fourth of the day. Both players have 4 aces.
Amazing stat to me on those aces, Mike, is that 127 mile per hour Hewitt ace. I don't recall it, but it obviously happened.
And I know you have a good memory. I don't recall it either. Oh, and a little backhand drop. Ends up in the net.
Was trying a delicate little drop volley there. It dropped all right, but way too soon. Again, I think the speed of Lleyton Hewitt, as we look at Bridget Wilson, Pete's wife, anytime you play a guy as fast as Hewitt, you're going to try just a little bit more on every shot. Wow.
And now 2 consecutive volleys netted by Sampras. You can see his shoulders slumping just a little bit.
Hewitt 1 out of 3 on break point opportunities. Here's a big one right here early in his second set.
Sampras responds with an ace.
122 miles per hour down the center, ace number 5.
Another break point.
Oh, that's big.
2 big serve back to back by Sampras. And We're back to deuce.
Deuce.
Another look at this bigger boomer down the center. Hewitt gets his racket on it, but not enough. I would bet if you did a survey of Sampras's aces on big points, 85% of them right down the center.
And another one. 3 straight bombs by Sampras.
Advantage Sampras.
He's got the advantage. Such a weapon. And he wraps it up. 4 straight big serves from Pete Sampras, 2 of them aces.
That is why the guy has 13 Grand Slam titles. Big serving when he needs it. 15-40 down.
Sampras, who has won over $41 million in his career, beginning with that U.S. Open championship at age 19. Although Lleyton Hewitt's won twice as much money this year. So Hewitt's had a much better year than Sampras. Hewitt's won $1.1 million. It's about 1/3 of his career earnings in this one season at age 20.
50.
And an ace from Hewitt at 99 miles per hour.
It's starting to crank up the serve. Served extremely well in that tiebreak. If you ask the average fan out there, has Tiger Woods won more prize money than Pete Sampras? I'll bet you 9 out of 10 would say, of course. Not so. Pete about 14 million ahead of Tiger. That might not last too long.
Hewitt moving Sampras everywhere, and Sampras responding.
No.
Rips the backhand, goes wide.
A little impatience there from Sampras for the first time. Tries to hit the winner. He really wasn't ready for that shot.
Another good serve by Lleyton Hewitt. 40 love. Sampras, who just lost the first set tiebreaker, had played 489 of those in his career.
That is amazing.
And won 310 of them in his career. That is about 2 out of every 3, but he didn't win that one. And at love, Hewitt holds serve to lead 2-1 here in the second set, and he's up a set for the U.S. Open Championship. Back at the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe Stadium court, the men's singles championship. Lleyton Hewitt a 1-set lead and a 2-1 lead. In the second set, Pete Sampras to serve. Sampras, who hung on, saved 2 break points in his last service game. And I don't know, Barry, if you believe in body language, whether that tells you anything, but it looks to me like Pete Sampras slumped a little bit after losing that tiebreak.
I definitely think he's in a bit of a slump right now, sort of running out of gas temporarily, looking maybe for a second win. As we mentioned, he has played a lot of tough matches coming into this championship match. Now Hewitt off to a quick start here in the 4th game, the second set.
Sampras had won 18 of the 20 sets he had played in this championship prior to that first one. Hewitt had won 18 of 23, so Hewitt had to go 5 sets on a couple of occasions.
Oh, Hewitt gets jammed on that serve.
Hewitt. He's 20 years old. Playing in the biggest match of his life. Against a crowd of 20+ thousand and a 13-time Grand Slam champion. Those are some steep odds. Both of these players are very adept on the hard courts we're playing on today. Hewitt had one of the best records this season on hard court. Over 30 wins, one of 3 players. And Hewitt just steps into that forehand down the line. 30 all.
Brilliant forehand from Lleyton Hewitt. This is not a bad volley, deep from Sampras. And watch the wraparound shot. A lot of side spin. You can see it on that ball. It brings it in. The guy who from Australia used to hit that buggy whip, they called it, John Newcomb. What a great shot that was. 1969 Australian Open champ. Some big points here. 4th game, 2nd set. Sampras with a 2nd serve.
Look how low Hewitt gets.
Yep.
His head is below the net.
40.
That time, Sampras beat him to the punch.
I love Hewitt's return of serve stance, Mike. It's very aggressive. And I'm sure when Pete Sampras looks over there, he says, hey, wait a second, is that Andre Agassi? Because Agassi has the same, very similar stance. They both get down real low, ready to move in either direction. Now you see Hewitt. There he is. Feet pretty wide apart.
Oh, Hewitt disguised it beautifully.
He did indeed. The last time he went up the line, and that's what makes him so tough. Sampras in behind it. Now the low return. He hits the volley up the line. Now watch this. Fakes it up the line and hits cross court. Racket back early. Look at that weight transfer. Tremendous balance. He's ready to move in either direction when he finishes the stroke.
Sampras to the net 52 times, has won 60% of those. A huge serve, another ace.
That slice out wide.
Number 7.
Advantage Sampras.
Hewitt trying to become the 6th Australian in the Open era to win the U.S. Open Championship. The last man to do it was Patrick Rafter, 1997 and 98, and there was a drought of 24 years between that title and the one by John Newcomb back in 1973. And a double fault by Sampras.
Costly double fault. This prolongs the game on Sampras' serve, and as a big server, you love to close those games out. You get that game point, you say, this is it, let's close this out. Toss those balls to the other side. The other thing about Sampras' serve through the years, a little like McEnroe's, is that you see his back, you see him turn right here, and it is tough to tell which way he's going to go. Most players will say, I just have to guess which way he's going to serve that ball.
High kicking serve. Great volley by Sampras. 2 in a row.
Beautiful backhand volley. Just stabs that ball. The first volley, though, was a real beauty, a low one. Now watch him move in on this ball. Lunges at it.
Hewitt still got a good shot off from deep trouble in the corner there and made Sampras knock off a solid volley. Oh,
yes.
Service return winner clean by Lleyton Hewitt.
Wow, that is the best return Hewitt has hit all day long. 102 mile per hour serve. Now watch this reflex return. Great shot. Just took a little bit shorter swing on that ball. Used the pace of the Sampras serve.
It's the hardest Sampras has had to work on his serve. Did get broken in the very first game. It happened quickly. And there he goes again with that slider.
For a second, I think he's a little afraid to serve to the two-hander of Lleyton Hewitt. And on that deuce court, Mike, he's sliding that ball out wide.
One thing Billie Jean King has said many times, champions adjust. You've got to make an adjustment during a match. The great ones can do it. And that caught the line. So Hewitt back-to-back with service return winners.
There's that two-hander we just talked about. Again, into that high bouncing shoulder shot from Hewitt. Great control. Pete thought it might be going wide, well inside the sideline.
Thirteenth point of this fourth game in the second set. And now Sampras faces another break point.
This is what makes Lleyton Hewitt so tough. One of the best servers of all times, and this kid just keeps getting the ball back in play.
And getting it in play in places that allow him to put himself in position to win points. That's the key.
Exactly.
And once again, Hewitt on the backhand return breaks Pete Sampras. A second break in 2 sets.
Hewitt's folks in that second row, and so now Lleyton Hewitt, big opportunity to consolidate that break and go up 4-1.
Sampras had a streak of 87 games in a row without getting his serve broken against the likes of Pat Rafter, Andre Agassi, Murat Safin, and now Lleyton Hewitt has broken him twice in his first 8 service games.
And Hewitt, that was an approach shot. More than that, it turned out to be a winner. But Hewitt 6 of 6 when he comes into net, and that's exactly why. Boy, he does not come in on bad shots. He was making sure that was a great approach shot.
Trying to do what Rod Laver did in '69, Ken Rosewall in '70, John Newcomb in '73. Win a U.S. Open championship.
Oh,
Sampras rips a backhand. How good was that?
Oh, I tell you something. Those were great shots. Best rally we've seen in the match, because Hewitt hit some brilliant ground strokes, but Sampras said, oh yeah, watch this. Just came in and rolled over that backhand. Oh, man, he put a lot of pace into that ball.
Sampras knows it's now or never. He needs to get another break. Down 3-1.
Oh,
And he flies it long.
He can come in behind that second serve that time. Pretty deep serve on the second ball. There's the rollover. He didn't like it the moment he struck that ball.
25 unforced errors by Sampras. Against Murat Safin in the semifinal, 3 sets, he had 20 total.
Wow. That ball jumps off the line. It jammed Sampras that thing. When it hits the line on this decorative surface, watch it one more time now. It just clips the line just slightly inside. Almost looks like it went right off the top of Sampras's racket.
So 2 game points for Hewitt.
And
He ends it with an ace. Lleyton Hewitt has 6 aces on the afternoon and a 1-set 4-1 lead. Pete Sampras floats another backhand over the baseline, and right now Sampras is in a funk. He is in trouble.
He missed some volleys in that last game that you never see him miss, but again, Lleyton Hewitt keeping the pressure.
And getting returns of serve back that are ungodly sometimes.
A lot of balls back in play.
So 2 breaks of Sampras' serve in the first 8 service games here after a streak of 87 in a row. He had a streak like that at Wimbledon, I think a couple of years ago, went 85 games in a row without getting his service broken.
That's tough. tough. Sampras back in the groove on that backhand volley.
30-15.
Now this is a must gain for Pete. He's only down one break. That 4-1 score, a lot of times a little deceptive. You know, it looks like the guy's running away with the set, but there's only one service break here.
That's if your serve is where you want it to be. It's been over a decade since a loser in the semifinals got back to the U.S. Open and then got to the final as Sampras misses that backhand. And that's what Hewitt has done. I remember back in '89 where Andre Agassi lost in the semis to Ivan Lendl. He got back and faced Pete Sampras in the final. Lost in straight sets. Sampras a second serve.
Another opportunity here for Hewitt. He has been gobbling up those second serves of Sampras.
Oh, what a passing shot by Hewitt.
Again, the two-hander, very deceptive as Ken Clijsters looks on. A lot of time. Now watch this shot. Hewitt, very well balanced. Racket back early. You don't know which way he's going to go, and Sampras guessed wrong. Leaned to his left. Hewitt drills it up the line.
So Hewitt with another break point is 7th. Sampras definitely showing some signs of wear and tear here in the second set.
This hit.
Hewitt lobs, and Sampras rises up and snaps down that break point.
Great overhead from Pete, but a clever shot again from Hewitt, keeping Sampras away from that net. Pete's got to say to himself, I'm going to be a little careful. This guy can hit topspin lobs.
Advantage Sampras.
An ace for Pete Sampras. Number 9. Here you are. You're playing defense. Barry McKay, what do you do?
Coming right into your living room. Well, you got it. That's the shot that is so tough. That slice out wide. That is the shot that Arthur Ashe used so effectively against Jimmy Connors in the '75 Wimbledon final.
Break. Oh, and he snapped it back the other way.
Sampras
Hewitt.
Yeah, and Pete knew that he had to take a gamble on that volley up there. He was absolutely dead. Watch this shot. A let court and all kinds of time. Hewitt just drifts it into the open court.
Second deuce.
Again.
And another break point for Hewitt. His return to serve has been sharp.
I'll tell you something. He has returned extremely well today as we look at the Sampras camp. Too excited right now.
To be feeling rather uncomfortable. Knowing that Sampras is about to be broken for a third time in this match alone.
Oh,
that's
yes.
just too good.
A leaping high backhand volley. How often have we seen Sampras on big points hit shots like that? A classic shot. Baryshnikov would like that one.
This is the 25th point in the last 2 games that Pete Sampras has served. It's been taking a while to win his service game, and that can wear and tear on a player. Sampras is used to winning them in 4. Give me 4 serves, get me out of here.
Advantage Hewitt.
Double fault. Just his 4th, but it gives Lleyton Hewitt his 3rd break point in this game alone. Sampras had a double fault in the previous service game that he was broken in.
Sampras backing off. This crowd roaring, trying to keep their man in this match.
Now second serve. Sampras, the 28th time he's had to crank it up again.
Almost looked like a fault.
And that's long. A third break of serve by Lleyton Hewitt.
5 games to 1.
And a 5-1 lead in the second set.
Sampras in his career has played very few players who have hit this many balls back so consistently. And it is starting to get to it.
Tim Clijsters was sitting in the stands out there signing autographs on some white balls that have been handed out by the Lincoln people here at the U.S. Open. Interesting. Here's Sampras getting the net again, and Hewitt misses that time.
I think we're going to have to see Pete now take some chances in rallies in particular on Hewitt's serve. Get in behind it. Does not want to get involved in long rallies from the baseline.
Eight men have won their first Grand Slam title at the U.S. Open. Rafter did it in '97. John McEnroe here in '79. Hewitt trying to do it today. And that caught the line.
Yeah, he had a look, but that ball definitely inside.
Sampras himself won his first ever Grand Slam title in 1990 here, so he's seeing maybe a little bit of himself in Lleyton Hewitt this afternoon. Coming in behind it, and that's wide.
Yeah,
15, 30.
it works. Maybe a little late in this set, down 5-1, but he may be thinking, hey, next set I'm going to keep the same thing going. As we look at the crowd outside Arthur Ashe Stadium, that huge plaza there, that's the big television screen, kind of like Henman Hill over at Wimbledon, where they had 10,000 people at one stage this year.
And that's long.
30 all.
30 all. Other first-time winners here at the U.S. Open, Manuel Orantes in 1975. Ilie Nastase won his first Grand Slam title in 1972. Stan Smith in '71. Arthur Ashe in '68.
40.
Another service ace for Lleyton Hewitt, his 7th of the match. Trying to catch up with Pete, who has 9.
Hewitt has only made 11 unforced errors and has cranked up 14 winners in this match, which is an hour and 21 minutes old.
It's wide.
And there goes the set. Lleyton Hewitt, 2 sets up on Pete Sampras for the U.S. Open Championship.
Seats quickly, please.
Pete Sampras to serve to begin the third set. Down 2 sets to love after dropping the second set 6-1. Does he have enough energy, fortitude to win 3 straight sets?
I have to serve a lot of aces to get back into this match, Mike, because I think the entire tournament now may be taking its toll on people. It's a little bit weary to me. Oh, just wide.
Wide, and
15.
Sampras shakes his head.
The forehand from Hewitt. Now watch this angle. For just a split second, that ball looked like it was going to be a winner. But carries clearly wide of the sideline.
Sampras has come back from 2 sets down 5 times at the Open.
Oh.
Not with Hewitt making shots like that.
Hewitt opening up on that wide forehand. Anticipated that one. Well, Sampras has been serving 3 out of 4 serves in the deuce court out wide. And finally, Hewitt saying, I'm just going to camp over there and wait for that shot. Amazing. Hewitt's only been in 6 times, won all 6 points. Pete, 73 approaches.
Long. It's the 8th time they've met. Hewitt trailing the series 4-3, but he's won the last 2. And another passing shot, this one down the line, gives him 2 break points.
15-40.
Tell you something, Hewitt now red hot. Look at the deception again, right in the corner. Rack it back early, watch the weight shift. That was a classic looking two-hander. Knees bent, gets down to the ball.
Hewitt has won more matches than any man on the tour this year, yet he's only won 3 titles. So he has gone into the semis quite often. And the finals without winning. This would be his biggest. And yet another passing shot.
Wow.
Cross court to get the break.
And a very quick Lleyton Hewitt on that two-hander once again. He mixes it up so well. Last time down the line. Pete moving to his right that time, anticipating the down the line shot, and he goes cross court. Back to that telling stat in the semifinals when yesterday Hewitt beat Kafelnikov 1-2-1. Back in 1951, Frank Sedgman beats Art Tappy Larson, one of the great Northern California lefties, 6-1, 6-2, 6-love. So another Australian, and one of the best ever, Frank Sedgman, with an easy semifinal.
And if he follows that up with a straight set win in the Open final, it might be the 2 finest back-to-back performances here in a long, long time.
Now the test for Lleyton Hewitt will be concentration. He knows this championship could be his. 2 sets to love up, a break up in the 3rd set. And he is just drilling that two-hander now at will.
50.
He's not even moving to his left on that one.
Sampras has had great success against Australians here at the U.S. Open. He's only lost 1 match. He came in the semifinals in '98 to the eventual champion, Patrick Rafter. Last year he defeated Hewitt in straight sets in the semis. Sampras gets back even at 15 all.
With one of his best
15
forehands down the line. And still Hewitt got his racket on.
Sampras had beaten Mark Philippoussis twice. Patrick Rafter in the round of 16 this year. But in deep trouble against Lleyton Hewitt. Hewitt can play that game. As Sampras try to change it up a little bit. So Sampras for the 2nd straight year on center court at the U.S. Open in a final has yet to win a set. He's got 5 straight sets in Open finals these last 2 years. Sampras misses by a lot. And now Hewitt 40-15.
Hewitt continues to be cautious about his approaches to the net. He had a couple times there, Mike, where he could have come in, stayed back. He still is batting 100% on his net approaches, only 6 times up there.
Sampras has done something in this tournament that only 3 other players have done. Defeat 3 former U.S. Open champs to get to this point. Andre Agassi did it in '95. Knocking off Sampras, Becker, and Edberg. Yvonne Lendl did it in '92, beating Connors, Becker, and Edberg. Bjorg way back in '76. Bjorn Borg did it by beating Orantes, Nastasi, and Connors. So it's not easy to do what Pete Sampras has done up to this point. Hanging away. Oh, what a shot. Oh, Sampras deep in the corner. Ripped a forehand.
The best rally of this match right here. Talk about power. Look at Sampras's concentration. Oh, just a bit of topspin. Pretty flat shot from Sampras and very deep. This crowd trying to get behind Pete Sampras now and get him back in this match.
That's wide. Second serve at deuce. Oh, he mixed it up, threw a kind of a floater in there.
Yeah. Well, he knows Sampras' favorite shot on that deuce court as Paul Annacone agonizes over in that first row. Here's the forehand from Sampras trying to come in. Just catches a little under the tape. But Pete likes that backhand approach from the deuce court. Much better with the backhand than the forehand.
13 Grand Slam titles. Trying to add to that record. And up against the wall against a 20-year-old Australian. Hewitt holds on to take a 2-love lead in the third set. He's up 2 sets to love.
Now the test for Lleyton Hewitt, as we mentioned already, concentration. He's got the 2 sets to love lead. Can't start thinking about the trophy, the presentation, and all those wonderful things. He's got some more tennis to play here.
And following your philosophy of holding on to your serve and just winning out to end a match, do you think Hewitt will do it? I think he'll be more aggressive.
Well, he certainly has served better than we have seen him. 7 service aces. 127 mile per hour cranker early in the match, which we're still trying to recall.
I think that could be a mistake. But he's upped his average first serve to 100 miles per hour.
A big roar for Sampras, who goes up 30 love.
Pete has not had many easy service games. In fact, the last 3, he's been broken 3 of them. His last 3 games in a row. Now he's cranked up 3 straight bombs. That one at 116 miles an hour.
Boy, he could use a quick game on his serve. As you mentioned, Mike, this would be the time for it here. Quickly now to 40 love. See if he can crank another one in. Nope.
He's had 10 aces. And a backhand volley into the net by Sampras.
40, 50.
Well, again, the quickness of Hewitt, because Sampras was all over him on that point. Overpowered the forehand approach. His 80th time into net. He has won 41 of those points, so a little over 50%.
That's wide. Hewitt met Sampras in the Queens tournament mid-June, beat him in the semifinals, went on to win the title by taking out Tim Henman. And that goes just wide off the forehand side. So Sampras hangs on to win his first game of this third set, but he's down 2-love in sets.
Hewitt leads 2-1.
Lleyton Hewitt to serve. 2-1 leader, 2-set leader over Pete Sampras, 4-time U.S. Open champion. Hewitt in his first Grand Slam final ever at age 20 has been impressive. You'd have to say nerves haven't been a factor. And that catches the line again. Arthur Ashe Stadium filled to capacity for the U.S. Open men's singles final after a glorious night last night where Venus Williams won the title on the women's side over her sister Serena Williams. And Sampras with an outright winner on the backhand.
Finally, Sampras jumps into that backhand, gets the nice high bounce. Here's the deep shot. Here's the inside out shot, and then Pete says, I've got to go for it. And it is a winner down the line, one of the best backhands he's hit all afternoon. I think if he gets a backhand here, Mike, he's going to come in behind it. He did not. He comes in behind the forehand. He'll win this point. And that's what he's got to do now. Try and cut the points off a little quicker. Petro is just a little low in his tank right now. Here's the forehand. Cups it. Gets the high volley and easy put away. And a chance now for Sampras to get back in this set. 15-30.
Does not get over the net. 30-all. So Hewitt's been able to come up with some big shots on his serve when he's needed them this afternoon. That serve was 101 miles per hour.
Sampras changes directions.
Hewitt could have come to the net, didn't do it. Now here comes Sampras.
Oh,
drops it. Did it catch the line? No, I guess it didn't.
Called wide on the Sampras volley. What a brilliant point from both players. Sampras uncorked one of his biggest forehands right there. Look at the power. Lleyton keeps it in play, and here is the wide volley. Yep, good call from that side linesman.
So Hewitt a chance to win this game, go up 3-1. Been breezy in Arthur Ashe Stadium all day long. The players have been able to combat it most of the time with some great play.
Forehand.
Oh.
Sampras scrambles, but not even close.
Here it was halfway up the wall at Fenway Park, Boston, Massachusetts. And Hewitt, who was in a little trouble there, hangs on 3-1. So Hewitt has won 9 of the last 11 games played after that tiebreaker, in which he had a little mini break against Sampras to start it and ended up winning it 7-4. So Pete Sampras has got to hold.
15.
And a rare miss-hit by Lleyton Hewitt.
Yeah, the last few games on Pete's serve, Lleyton has been picking up that wide serve very early, coming across court with it.
The oldest man to win a U.S. Open, Bill Arnott, back in 1911. Last of his 7 singles titles. He was 38 years old. Sampras at age 30, trying to win for the 5th time. Oh, that's too good.
15.
Hewitt's return has been tying up Sampras more often than not.
He has returned just so well throughout this entire match as Paul Annacone looks on, chatting with Bridget Wilson, Pete's wife of less than a year. It's
a transitional period in some ways for Pete Sampras. A Newlywed took some time off. Trying to get back up to the top of the game again. He has certainly reached it. But can he get over that final hurdle and win another Grand Slam?
Ooh, 30.
Just catches the tape.
Rare miss by Hewitt.
And the thing today with Hewitt, when he misses, Mike, he has not missed by much. That one just caught the top of the tape.
I think the one thing that Hewitt's got to be a little concerned with is not looking ahead.
Yeah.
He's 3 games away from a Grand Slam championship, his very first. But it won't happen until he wins those 3 games.
That's the one thing as a player, when you miss a few shots early in the match, but you hit the ball well, you really don't mind it that much. You want to make the shots, obviously, but.
Oh,
yes.
Hewitt's backhand crossed up Sampras again.
That is just so good against one of the best volleyers in the game. Sampras comes under that ball. Now watch Pete. He just leans just for a moment to his right, leaves that left-hand court open, and that's why it worked.
And it didn't get over the net by much. So tough to hit a low shot like that. Sampras' percentage today much lower than it was against Marat Safin. He's only won 50% of those approaches.
88 times up to net for Sampras. Now another chance here for Hewitt. Second serve opportunity.
Against Safin, he won 67% of his net approaches.
30.
Oh, and Pete goes out wide, takes a chance on the second serve. And now a big opportunity once again for Lleyton Hewitt to pull off a second break of serve.
He's already broken Sampras in the first game of this set. Twice in the second set, and the very first game of the match.
That's a fault. Second serve again. And there it is.
Hewitt gets the break again. The cross-court forehand winner.
4 games to 1.
And he is just demolishing Pete Sampras' serve this afternoon. He's up 4-1 in the third. Welcome back to Arthur Ashe Stadium Court. It's the U.S. Open Men's Singles Championship. 2 balls in play for Lleyton Hewitt, who is up 2 sets, 4-1 in the third, 2 games away from his first Grand Slam championship.
And as Lleyton Hewitt holds up new balls, that's the title of the ad that the ATP has been using for all the good young guys coming along. New balls, please, and a lot of ads around the country. Kind of reminded me of it there when he held them up.
And this is one of those new great young players. About to accomplish his best ever result.
That's good.
Oh, Sampras stood right in.
Wow. And now a chance for Pete. Love 30. He needs it badly.
Love 30.
Watch the movement from Sampras. Great anticipation. One nice big step and blocks that backhand into the open court.
Study in contrast, this great champion of the 90s, trying to win in the new millennium. As Hewitt bangs that forehand home.
50-30.
Hewitt decked out in some bright colors, the collarless shirt. Now I know the guys you faced along the road never wore outfits like that.
Well, only because if we'd walked out with something like that, the tournament director would have said, please repair to the locker room and try some white, please. Oh, yeah.
That cord. But Hewitt finishes it off so quick.
Speaking of that color, Mike, I remember
30.
my first trip to Australia. Speaking of Australians, we're watching a great one today. White City in Sydney was the big place to play tennis, and we had been given these wonderful sweatsuits. They were kind of light green, and I put mine on immediately, walked out to warm up, And the tournament director said, my good American friend, no. It's all white here at White City.
So Hewitt back to 30 all.
Sampras in again.
40
will go long.
Floats it long, so Hewitt 1 point away from a 5-1 lead. This is Sampras' 4th final of the year. He lost in Long Island 2 weeks ago to Tommy Haas in 3 sets. And a drought of 17 tournaments without a championship, going back to Wimbledon 2000 for Pete Sampras.
Game, Hewitt.
And now Hewitt is 1 game away
Hewitt leads.
from the U.S. Open Championship.
And a big serve there from Hewitt. And he's cranked that serve so well all afternoon. And that has been a surprise to Sampras. We haven't seen Hewitt serve quite this big so consistently as we look at the trophy that will be handed out. A little dejection there from the Sampras crowd. That's a fault.
Sampras had been the first player in the Open era to defeat 3 former U.S. Open champs in a single U.S. Open just to get here.
And Hewitt very wisely doesn't even try for that overhead. He's got the 5-1 lead. He leads 2 sets to love. If I were in Hewitt's shoes right now, I wouldn't be leaping for any of those overheads. I'd just be saying, I gotta have 1 more game, folks.
He has broken Pete Sampras' serve 4 of the last 5 times. This after Pete had run off 87 straight in the tournament.
You know, that is a remarkable stat, Matt, that you just pulled out of your great stats machine here. Well, that's fantastic when you think about it. I mean, Sampras hadn't lost his serve hardly at all, and now 5 times in a row. That's incredible.
And I'm sure when the history is written on this match, that's going to be what Lleyton Hewitt talks about as much as anything else. And I'm sure there'll be a few other players asking him, how did you do that?
I just kept getting that ball back on Sampras' serve. That's how. No.
And that time the return good enough to
30,
force
50.
Pete into an error.
At this stage, if you're Lleyton Hewitt, you're up 5-1, down on Sampras' serve, do you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to keep going for these returns, but I may not expend quite so much energy this game because I got to serve this thing out when I cross over.
Forehand missed.
A sitter trying to hit it behind Hewitt. Just catches the tape. And a few whistles for the great champion.
The other accomplishment for Hewitt in this match is defeating Sampras in a tiebreak. He is the tiebreak leader in the Open era, Sampras, yet he lost the first one here today. That turns out to be a harbinger of what was to come. 30 all.
No. 30. Sampras going for it all. And now, Mike, from 30 love up, suddenly now Hewitt for the big chance.
Championship point for 20-year-old Australian Lleyton Hewitt against a 13-time Grand Slam champion, Pete Sampras.
Oh,
yes. Sampras knocks one off.
And you know, looking at Hewitt on that last point, dude, you've got to hand it to him. His concentration has been superb. He hasn't smiled once today so far. He's been nothing but look across the net at his opponent. Nope.
And Sampras alive for one more serve.
And with a
Advantage.
big serve, 125 miles per hour. You're going to hear a roar go up as Sampras holds and wins this game. This crowd not about ready to let their champ go down.
You could sense in the last 2 weeks the rising tide of support for Sampras. Never really a beloved Grand Slam champion,
Ooh, it looked like
but he has put some real sizzle into his game in these 2 weeks. Right now, we're back to deuce. And the crowd has really been part of it.
Another look at the return from Hewitt. Hits that ball down the line, no problem. Sampras about 2 feet behind the service line.
Back to deuce.
Ooh.
Great return. And that one floats long, and another championship point for Lleyton Hewitt.
Again, how often we have seen Pete trapped on that service line, forced into hitting the half volley.
Could this be the last Grand Slam final for Pete Sampras? Last Grand Slam final serve.
That's it, I think.
That's it.
Yes.
Lleyton Hewitt in straight sets, breaking Pete Sampras to end the match. Breaking Pete Sampras 6 times in the match is the U.S. Open champion.
Fantastic last point as Hewitt just leans into that two-hander. What a fitting way to win it. An ecstatic young man from Adelaide, Australia is the U.S. Open champion.
20 years old, one of the youngest ever to win this great championship. Lleyton Hewitt. Great sets over Pete Sampras. Wow. 13-time Grand Slam winner.
Hewitt over to his coach, Darren Cahill. Kim Kleisters, his girlfriend from Belgium, a big kiss. And what a moment for the youngster from Australia.
Never once had a break in his concentration, and the match was broken in his first service game and really held on from there on, winning in the tiebreaker in the first set and just rolling over Pete Sampras, 6-1, 6-1 in the second and third set. An impressive performance by this young man.
Very impressive indeed, Mike. His concentration, as you just hit the nail on the head. To me, that was maybe the best thing of all about his game today. Great returns of serve, but at one point, against as great a player as Sampras, your concentration has to just be totally there, and it was for him today. Great effort and a great win.
2 consecutive great tournaments, matches in a row for Lleyton Hewitt. That's championship point.
And a fitting way to end it, too, because it was a superb return of serve. And there he goes, down on the hard courts of this magnificent Arthur Ashe Stadium. A big win for the youngster from Adelaide.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how about a wonderful round of applause for these 2 great champions? It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Merv Heller, President of the United States Tennis Association and Chairman of the U.S. Open. Merv?
Thank you, Tony. On behalf of the USTA, we want to thank the over 640,000 fans that came through the gates the past 2 weeks. A record-breaking crowd. And now it's my pleasure, on behalf of the USTA, to give the runner-up at the 2001 U.S. Open men's singles to a champion of our heart, Pete Sampras.
Pete, congratulations on a great tournament. It's like you had to play 4 finals in a row. You had to go through Rafter, Agassi, Safin, all former champions here. Now 2 years in a row you've won into a hot 20-year-old in Lleyton Hewitt. You played a great match, a great tournament, but he really returned your serve well, didn't he?
He was unbelievable. The kid is so quick. It's unbelievable. Those legs, I wish I had some of those legs for this old guy. But like to thank this crowd for supporting me these past 2 weeks. It's been a lot of fun. But I lost to a great champion. You're going to see this Lleyton Hewitt guy for the next 10 years like you saw me. So I like to thank that whole side of the stadium, my wife Bridget, my coach Paul, and everyone for supporting me. It was a good run. Unfortunately, I ran into a young guy that was a little bit too good today.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. Congratulations. It's now my pleasure to introduce Mark Hutchins, the president of Lincoln. Mark?
Thank you, Tony. Well, we've seen it was a very exciting tennis tournament. Exciting tennis played in front of incredible fans. We at Lincoln are so proud to be a sponsor of this great championship. So on behalf of all of our dealers and our employers and our customers and our suppliers, it really is a thrill to again be here and sponsor the men's championships. Tony, very exciting. I'd have to say part of the excitement was generated by the play of this guy, Pete Sampras. You know, Pete, "13 Grand Slams, 4 major U.S. Opens. You are an icon, an American tennis icon. So Pete, Lincoln is an icon also. So from one icon to another icon, here's a check for $425,000. Congratulations.
And now, Mark, I think you have a check for our champion.
Well, Tony, it takes a great champion to beat a great champion. And Lleyton played the best tennis I've seen in a long time. And as Pete said, he's going to be here for a long time. So Lleyton, on behalf of Lincoln, I'd like to present the winner's check, the champion's check to you for $850,000.
Well, Lleyton, congratulations on a fabulous tournament, your first Grand Slam title. Tell us how it feels for you.
It's unbelievable. I've dreamt of this moment and being out here and playing in a Grand Slam final, and I really couldn't believe it, and it hasn't sunk in yet. And, I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and supporting the tournament over the last 2 weeks. It's been great. I'd like to thank my support crew, my coach Darren Cahill, my girlfriend Kim, my family, friends, Davis Cup coaches and captains. It's been a great 2 weeks, and these guys have believed in me the whole time. And also I'd like to thank all the sponsors. Without the sponsors, these kind of tournaments aren't possible, so thank you.
I think that in the last 13 games that you played, you made 3 unforced errors. That's pretty clean tennis.
I don't know what I can say. I got a bit lucky out there. I was seeing the ball well, and I got better with every match that I played over the last 2 weeks. And as I said, it hasn't sunk in, and it's a real dream come true, though. I can say that.
All right, Lleyton, congratulations once again. And now, Mr. Merv Heller with a trophy for our champion.
Thank you, Tony. On behalf of the USTA and all the people in this stadium and around the world, it is my pleasure to give the 2001 U.S. Open Men's Singles Champion Trophy to Lleyton Hewitt.
Ladies and gentlemen, Your 2001 U.S. Open men's singles champion, Lleyton Hewitt.